If I told you that you could be happy and full of the joys of life without any effort, would you be interested? If you could keep smiling whilst everyone else was losing their heads, would you choose that life? Whoever we are and whatever we do, it's universally accepted that being happy is everyone's ultimate goal in life. But did you know that around 1 in 10 of the people you know are sometimes happy when you least expect it, even in situations that would have most people running for the hills? There's no drugs involved, no therapy, no religion, no New Age healing crystals or self-help empowerment required. Yet people everywhere are doing this every day of their lives. Question is, do you want to know how they do it? And do you wish you could do it too? This isn't the first video on this channel about alexithymia, but it's a subject that gets asked about a lot. As I said in the intro, around 1/10 of the people in the world are alexithymic, but for autistic people like me, that figure jumps to about half of us. And yes, alexithymia can be the key to being happy when others are sad, or keeping cool, calm and collected in a crisis. I'm alexithymic myself, and my capacity for remaining calm and level-headed when all around me are freaking out is legendary amongst my friends. It's a useful quality in the right circumstances. Being upbeat when others are beaten down by events they can't control has earned me a reputation for relentless optimism and positivity. Alexithymia is a trait which can lay the foundations of a career in leadership, can shield us from making costly mistakes, or in extreme situations make the difference between life and death. To be alexithymic is to be emotionally separated from the moment. It's not a case of being unemotional, lacking empathy, nor a blunting of emotional intensity. It's more like a delay or temporary disconnection, and it varies throughout our lives. It can be as simple as being unable to find the words to describe our feelings if asked. Alexithymic people generally still feel the same emotions as others in similar situations, but it may be difficult for us to isolate exactly what they are. Rather than say we're excited, jubilant or delighted, we may just say we're feeling good. On the other hand, feeling bad might describe sorrow, grief, outrage or even desperation. Although this is alexithymia at its lowest setting, it can still be problematic in both social and formal situations. Everyday questions like, "How are you feeling?" or "Are you okay?" become social minefields if you can't find the right words. It's surprising how hostile people can be if you can't commit to the emotional state they expect. I've even met people for whom their inability to describe their feelings has had life-changing consequences affecting careers, relationships, and even medical outcomes. There are physical sensations that accompany intense emotion, but without the connection, we might not know why we're feeling them. We could be sick with worry, for example, but only aware of feeling queasy. Those sensations can serve as potential clues, or they can equally confuse the issue. Are we tingling with excitement, or is that prickly feeling the frisson of fear? More than once I've heard of alexithymic people seeking medical attention for symptoms that were rooted in emotions they couldn't put their fingers on. When the alexithymia dial is turned up to maximum, it can be at its most useful, but also its most risky. The same actions might see us labelled as heroes and saviours on one day, or flippant, blasé or unfeeling the next. At times like these, it's more than just a challenge to describe our feelings. We don't even know what we're feeling. We're disconnected, like they were being felt by someone else. We usually know what emotional reaction is expected of us, but it's beyond our reach. Like that word that's on the tip of your tongue, the actual feeling eludes us. There are times in everyone's lives where things we take for granted suddenly fall apart. Relationships end, jobs go sour, or we lose loved ones. Most people feel intense emotions at times like these, and it's not uncommon for those feelings to overcome their better judgment. Regrettable things are said in the heat of the moment, and bad decisions are made whilst minds are clouded by heightened feelings. Someone who is alexithymic will often be the one in the room who still thinks clearly enough to make the right decisions. Whilst others panic or worry, we'll be coordinating the response and may even save the day. We make good peacemakers or mediators because we have the cool heads to remain impartial and methodical. Even those of us who have no desire to lead can suddenly find ourselves thrust into the limelight because we happened to make a difference. Once the moment has passed, though, the troubles begin. Those who relied on us to get them out of a fix often remember us being calm while they were running around like headless chickens. They become embarrassed and resentful. "Who put you in charge?" they ask. The hero who saved the day is now a predatory opportunist, taking advantage of their distress to advance themselves. Bosses and authority figures may worry they look incompetent because we handled the crisis they couldn't and set about undermining us. I'm not just talking about in the workplace either. Hierarchies exist in clubs, associations, teams, groups of friends, and even families. Whilst alexithymia is both a survival tool and a defence mechanism, it can also trip us up in happier times. When all around us are celebrating and jumping for joy, we may find ourselves underwhelmed. We don't feel like whooping and cheering and can't join in unless we fake it, which many of us do. Let's face it, nobody likes a party pooper. For all the strength it lends us in dark times, it can leave us being left out in brighter ones. Whether it's a boost or a drag in the moment, though, alexithymia has a bitter sting in its tail. Whilst we're calmly and boldly leading from the front, we're still feeling the same emotions as everybody else. They may be tucked away out of reach, but there's only so much room behind that emotional dam. If we keep filling it up, eventually it's going to burst. And that's exactly what happened to me a few weeks ago. This is my first full-length video in several weeks, because I have just lived through all the fears, frustrations and misery of the last year and a half all at once. All the uncertainty, confusion and worry that built up over the COVID pandemic flooded out of my personal Pandora's box in an overwhelming tsunami, and I barely coped. Even then, I did my best to isolate others from the damage my blackened mood could do. The apparent strength that saw me through this crisis was completely absent, and I'm only now starting to get things under control. All it took was a simple misunderstanding that would normally pass by unnoticed. But this time, it was the catalyst for an unstoppable wave of emotion that's made it difficult to get through these last few weeks. It may take a few more to get back to my usual self too. It happens without warning. There's no gauge saying the emotional reservoir is 99% full, no cracks in the dam warning us it's about to break. It just happens, and there is nothing I or anyone else can do to prevent it. We can only endure it, try to process it, and hope we come out the other side in one piece. At my age, I've experienced such floods many a time, and thanks to now having an understanding of what's happening to me and why, I rarely suffer the damaging consequences of depression and anxiety that plagued me in younger years. In that time, I've also learned how to ride and make the best of the waves of happiness that suddenly spring up out of nowhere too. At the beginning, I asked whether you'd like to know how some people can feel happy without any effort, and this is how. To some, it might sound attractive, but I can tell you, most of you probably don't want it. When other people see me excited, cheerful, or even laughing when they don't feel it too, they can become very judgmental. I've attracted all sorts of labels over the years, and few of them kind. Alexithymia is a double-edged sword. I wouldn't want to lose it at the times I need it. I've kept my head through some very trying times, and I know without doubt that it's saved my life more than once. I've gained good, reliable friends because I was the one who could see clearly enough to help them when they needed it. And I've achieved some of my best work when under pressures that would have others begging for mercy. I've also been frozen out of social groups for not being enough fun, got into trouble at work for not reacting as expected, and suffered many years of abuse from weak-minded bullies who picked on me because they thought I could take it and wouldn't bite back. Alexithymia isn't classed as a disability or a medical condition. It's simply a personality trait, and it's not known for certain whether we're born like this or made this way through life experience. It's not something we can choose to do, like someone hiding their feelings or acting a part. 1 in every 10 people you meet are alexithymic, though you'll likely not know. Most don't even know themselves, but they do know that they often have to fake it to fit in, and have no explanation for the sudden bouts of anguish or joy that creep up on them from time to time. Would I want to be any different? I can't answer that. For all that it's caused me difficulties and made me feel left out at times, it's been the key to my survival too. And I've never experienced life any other way. And it's kind of nice sometimes to feel happy without trying. Thank you for watching. Are you alexithymic and didn't realise until now? Have you any stories of when alexithymia was an advantage or of when it made your life more difficult? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and if you really like the channel, support us on Patreon.